We
Do
could
you want to preface this with anything?
We could preface this with
yes.
something. Okay. Whenever you're
We're
ready.
going to preface this. Wuten's known in the fandom for narrating beautiful, beautiful stories, just the highest quality works that exist, and
for being a little shit.
that. But he doesn't get a lot of attention to his writing work, so this is what we're going to do today. We are going to narrate one of his stories.
While he listens and cringes.
It's going to
I'm
be
scared.
great. So this is
You should be. You should be.
So this is an honest trade by Wuten. And that's it. Finally, after all this time, it's finished. You pump your fist into the air, then remember that you're suffering from a severe case of carpal tunnel due to working furiously the past few days. Ow, 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 ow. You grip your wrist and rub it with your thumb before letting both arms rest at your side. You smile, reading over the last few bits of your completed product. Finally! Now time to get this stuff out there. You are Anonymous the writer. You're not entirely sure how it happened, but you just sort of started writing. Not about anything in particular, really. It was more or less just a day-to-day summary of what was happening in your life. Slowly, however, you began creating much more detailed, much more exaggerated stories to fill in the more dull parts of your life. After all, Equestria outside of the whole "they have magic" thing is pretty boring, if you do say so yourself. One day, however, Twilight managed to get into your journal of writing entries. You tried to cover up for it by telling her that they were stories you made from scratch.
Wow, really?
She had been ecstatic to know that you had created such riveting tales that she wanted to get your name out there. Or at least your pen name, to keep yourself safe. You gave yourself a pen name to make sure ponies didn't single you out from your day-to-day life, both as a precaution to keep the press away and to keep the inspiration pouring in. Anonymous. The perfect unknown pen name. Nobody will know it's really you. Having ponies come up to you asking for your autograph all day wouldn't exactly make for an interesting story.
You know from real life there, Wooten?
There's actually a story about that. I'll get to it later.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, great.
Do go on.
A knock comes from your door. You place your now completed book away in your desk and walk over to open it.
Hey, Anonymous.
Twilight smiles up at you.
How are you to...
You quickly move to silence her, covering her mouth with your hand. Wonderful things hands are. Shh! You shake your head slowly before looking around. Come in. You motion for her to come inside, and she does so, following behind you. You close the door as she enters and look around.
Gosh, Anon, you should turn on some lights in this place.
Twilight exclaims, her horn glowing to illuminate the room. Oh yeah, forgot. You turned off all the lights, save for a small candle next to your desk that was barely flickering now. You walk around, turning on the lamps in the house before turning on the big lights. Let your eyes adjust slowly, rather than all at once. It's done, Twilight. Her eyes widen, knowing exactly what you meant by that.
You mean...
That's right. You grin. They'll get the conclusion. After all these months, I've finally finished it. Her face practically beams with excitement, and she jumps up and down in place, squeeing in delight.
Oh, Anon, that's great. When can we expect it?
As soon as I read through it to check for any errors I made. Would you like to read it?
Of course.
She exclaims, trotting over to your desk. You reach into the drawer and pull out the completed book, handing it to her. Now be careful. This is the only copy I have. She looks up at you with a raised eyebrow, as if wondering if you really asked that question.
Anonymous, do you know who you're talking to?
Twilight Sparkle, the librarian of Ponyville and student to Celestia, right?
Princess Celestia, you mean?
She says matter-of-factly. Pretentious bitch. But you still love her, silly. You grin and pat her head, ruffling her mane a bit. Right. She pouts up at you. You laugh before running your fingers through it to straighten it back out. You know I'm joking, right? She scoffs, grinning at you before walking over to your bed, leaping up onto it and laying down, opening the book to examine the story inside.
Oh, yes.
3 hours have passed.
Yes.
You're long gone at this point, fast asleep in your chair. Writing that story took a lot out of you, believe it or not. You hope it was all worth all the trouble. All the trouble. Oof! You gasp for breath as Twilight stamps her hooves into your stomach.
What? What was that?
She's practically screaming at you. What do you mean?
That ending.
She speaks each word individually while staring daggers at you.
What kind of ending was that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't give me that. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
She growls, flipping to the exact page and shoving it in your face. Oh. That. Listen, Twilight, I don't know what the problem was. I thought it was pretty good.
You know what the problem is, but you're not fixing it.
She yells, closing the book and slapping it across your face.
Now you're going to write a proper ending to that story, whether you want to or not. He will have a happy ending.
You feel yourself being lifted up into the air and turned around, facing your desk, your quill levitating next to you, and 10 sheets of paper on the other side.
Now, I'm going to help you write this ending and make sure you get it right this time.
Oh, God. Why does this remind you of another book you read a while back?
Pencil's loving this.
Oh, this is great. You sigh, turning to look at her. What point should I start at, then? She looks through the original book before lifting it to you.
This one. The part where he just defeated the evil king and is meeting with the princess after all this time.
All right. Let me see what I can do. After brainstorming, writing, and checking it yourself, you finally sit back in your chair. Done. Take a look. You stack the papers together and hand them to her.
All right, let's see what you have.
She says, scanning over the words on each page.
It's better, but still not. What's the word I'm looking for?
Realistic?
Yes, that's the one.
She smiles up at you before tearing the papers in half with her magic.
Do that, but make it more realistic feeling. Make the reader feel the emotions of the moment.
You look at the ripped pages and cry on the inside from it. Back to work. It's getting dark out now. Everyone will be heading home to sleep soon. You're surprised that nobody came to your door today. You usually get at least a visit from your neighbor once in a while. You still have never seen his face, no matter what he's doing. For some reason, fate has decided that you will never get to see what he really looks like outside of mane and eyes. Is that a reference to Home Improvement?
Yes.
Oh my God!
I was wondering when someone would catch that. You are literally okay, priest. You are literally the first person to get that.
They not
And tell me, my God, like, I don't know.
Really?
I don't know how it would.
Wilson. Fuck, guys. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not mad. I'm angry.
It's wonderful. Okay. Serious time now. Maybe you could write a story about him sometime.
Please do.
That was the line in the story, believe it or not. Now it's your turn.
I know, I'm trying. Okay. Anonymous,
You hear Twilight's voice come from behind you.
are you finished? You've been sitting there staring blankly at the ceiling for a while now.
Just a little more, then it'll all be over. You sit up and look down at your notes. You've done plenty of brainstorming on the story itself. Why are you having so much trouble finding a good ending for this? Wait, that's it! Just do what you always do. Time to bullshit your way through and hope it works. You grin. That's like all of my stories.
Literally my career.
You grin, picking up your quill and going to the pages, writing on them furiously as Twilight watches over your shoulder, entranced by it. As time goes on, you begin to go at a slower pace, gathering your ideas for the grand finale and clusterfucking them in there. Done! You hold up the final page after nearly 3 hours of writing and grin at Twilight. Have fun going through this one. I'm sure you'll just love it. The edge of your voice leaves her a bit intimidated, but she begins reading, and reading, and reading, and reading, until finally, she reaches the point you were waiting for. You hear her make an audible gasp and cover her mouth with her hoof, continuing to read on. Just keep staring intently at her, Anonymous. Watch as her emotions come falling out.
Such an awkward visual. Sorry, that's such an awkward visual.
I know.
Go on.
I know. Just wait.
Okay.
She continues reading, and you see her eyes widen a few times before a light blush comes to her cheeks.
Anon, is this?
You grin, remaining silent.
Oh. Oh my.
She continues reading on, her eyes getting wider and wider, her blush getting deeper and deeper.
Anonymous?
Now is the time to speak. You stare at her with a wolfish grin. Yes, Twilight?
What?
She sets the pages down, completely at a loss for words as she reads the final line of the story. Well? She looks at the pages, sitting still for a moment before standing up.
I need to go. It's getting late, Anonymous.
She nods at you and turns, opening the door and walking out. But, oh, she left plenty of evidence of her opinion.
Anonymous. Oh, sorry. Is it me or him? Actually?
No, it's him. It's him.
Okay.
She just left. Anonymous, you've done it again. You grin, sitting back in your chair and staring at the small wet spot on your wooden floor. Sure, you would have to clean it up later, but it was all worth it. You are Anonymous, and you just made the most critical reader in Ponyville read your erotica and get hot from it. Feels good, man. Fiend.
Yeah.
Fiend. Oh, God.
10 out of 10.
I was waiting for more leg breaking.
No, not leg breaking. It was slightly based on Misery. Inspired by it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, I was expecting you to be pulling my leg at one point.
Oh, God.
Oh.
If punts are bad, you should feel...
Oh.